Welcome to the Coach's Preview Show. I'm your host, Darrin Joins, and today's special guests are the basketball coaches from Brentwood and Centennial High Schools talking about tonight's 11-4A matchup. We're going to start with the girls' coaches, newbies to the program, Coach Bruce Hamilton of Centennial and Marcel Williams of Brentwood High School. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, both coaches are in their first year as head coaches of their respective programs. Coach Williams moves up a seat, so to speak, after being an assistant coach at Brentwood. Coach Hamilton comes to us from Alabama, where he most recently led the girls program at Austin High School. Coach Williams, welcome to the show and congratulations on taking the reins at Brentwood High School.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coach Hamilton, to you, welcome to Tennessee.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
But we're really excited about having you guys not only as head coaches, but certainly on this program today. Coach Williams, let's start with you. We talked a little bit about you being the assistant coach at Brentwood before. Give our audience just a little bit about your background so they can get to know you a little better.
I'm originally from Orlando, Florida. I came to Tennessee to play basketball at Austin P for 4 years. Then I kind of bounced around. Started getting into coaching in Orlando at my old high school. Then when I moved back, I did middle school in Nashville for a year. And then I found my way to Brentwood under Coach Sig and then under Coach Miles Thrash.
Coach, wasn't there a connection with Coach Carter there at Brentwood?
Coach Carter, I met him down there before, but Coach Shirley was my high school coach for my senior.
Okay.
So he kind of, we talked about high school. I wanted to move up. I was at middle school. And he showed me the ropes and then kind of offered me to Brentwood and then kind of stayed.
That's great, Coach. Coach Williams, give the audience a little bit about your background.
I'm Coach Hamilton. Yes.
Coach Hamilton, my bad. Coach Hamilton.
That's okay.
Jump right. Hey, listen, it's a new year. We haven't done this in a few weeks. Technology. The host here's a little off on his technology, on his people. Coach Hamilton, tell the audience about your background.
Well, I'm originally from North Alabama and got into coaching at a young age. My high school coach encouraged me to get into coaching and started out in junior college boys and assistant and just really enjoyed the recruiting and aspect and became a head boys coach at a young age and went into girls coaching and started at Austin High School in Decatur, Alabama, and was there 16 years previously before I took this job at Centennial last year.
Well, Coach, like Coach Williams, we're excited to have you as the head coach as well. And again, welcome to Tennessee. Let's talk a little Brentwood recap. Coming into tonight's game, Brentwood is 10-5. Coach Williams, you played a pretty darn tough schedule, including games with Page High School. We all in WCS know what kind of program they have. They were in the state tournament last year in 3A. Of course, we moved to 4 classes now, but certainly one of the best teams in the state, regardless of class. You played Lebanon High School, another quality program, Westmoreland, a storied program as well, and Blackman, just to name a few. That tough schedule, even though maybe at times could have been a little bit of a headache, especially for a first-year head coach, but has to be a blessing for your team as you enter district play.
Yes, just coming off my previous seat as assistant, I noticed when we play the easier schedule, we kind of go out to a shaky start in the district. So I know they switched it up this year and want to go for a little more tougher schedule. And we got a young group, so those girls will get a little bit more acclimated to the varsity level when you play against really good teams. So kind of jump in that fire, get thrown, see what we can and cannot do leading up to district play.
Coach, when you talk about the Lady Bruins, you certainly have to talk about Sydney Ryan, who's really played well this year.
Yeah, Sydney's we got her last year. She's really turned her game on. Last year she became a better rebounder, which followed this year. She's just being a leader all around. My goal right now is to help her for the next level to go to college. A lot of freshmen don't get to play right away, but my goal is for her to play right away, and it starts here. And she's doing a good job for us.
You also have to talk about another senior, Caitlin Lorenzi. She certainly stepped up, and especially now when you're talking about a team that lost some talent and some experience, names like Amelia Osgood, Sophie Roston, Chloe Wampler, Kate Workman, but Caitlin stepped up for you too, Coach.
Yes, Caitlin has made big shots over the years just to get us even into the state tournament or even to a regional championship. So I leaned a lot on Caitlin this year. She does everything for. I call her my CN leader because she's been a Brentwood for 4 years. She got over 80 wins under her belt, so she knows how to win a game. She knows what to do. So I lean on her a lot. She doesn't show up a lot as far as high marks in the stat sheet, but she's very, very key to our wins.
Coach Hamilton, talking about your team, Centennial, you come in at 6-7, but really, when you look at that 6-7, I think it becomes even more impressive when you're talking about a team that had 2 wins all of last year. So you're at 6 wins here heading into district play. Your team is continuing to improve. You get the win over Smyrna. In your last game, Nolensville, you defeat in the above the rim tournament there at Hickman County. So you've got to be pleased with how your team is progressing right now, Coach.
Well, we've actually played pretty well in the last couple of games, and yeah, I think we hit a little lull, but I would say over the last 2 weeks, we've really been playing better, executing a little better, and shooting the ball a little better. So, hopefully we can build off that and continue a little momentum going into the game.
Coach, Sheraton Foster is a young lady that we certainly know about in WCS. I know you've been excited about coaching her. You were excited when you first saw her play. Then you've got other names, Maya Boyer, Tyra Petway, just to name a few. Listen, and you said this to me early, you've got some pretty darn good pieces on that team.
Yes, we do. We've got some good seniors, and they've worked hard, done a good job. We've got some pieces. We just not consistent all the time. And I think as the year goes on and we continue to improve, get a little more consistency just throughout our program, I think it'll show more even on the floor.
Coach Hamilton, talk a little bit, if you would, some differences in the league and maybe even the state, being, playing in Alabama the last several years or coaching in Alabama. Talk about some differences maybe you've noticed maybe in this league versus the league you were in, or maybe just the states in general.
Well, just looking at Brentwood in particular, obviously they shoot it very well. I think that the skill level around here is better skill level. And I think they shoot it better. And so it makes it tough to defend. And it's a tough league. There's no doubt about it. To look at Brentwood and see, what they've done, where their program is now, it's kind of a benchmark for someone new like me. It's definitely a tough area, but definitely from a shooting standpoint, I think it's much better.
Talk about the districts here a little bit. And again, it's a little bit different for our audience out there now that we've gone 4 classes in basketball, 11 4A, Brentwood, Centennial, Franklin, Hillsborough, and Overton. And then District 12 4A, Columbia Central, Independence, Nolensville, Ravenwood, Summit, which makes up Region 6 4A. Coach Williams, a little bit different. This year, we had a 9-team league before. Now, basically, you finish in the top 3, you're going to automatically qualify for the region tournament with 4 and 5 playing that play-in game. How do you approach that district schedule? Because it's a little bit different than that. In the past, you had 16 games that were pretty much automatic games. You had to play them. Now it's 8. How's that different, Coach Williams?
I kind of approach it the same as we did before, just one game at a time. I know it's a little different, but I don't want to stress or put that on the girls. Just say one game at a time. It's high school sports at the end of the day. So we're just going to take it one game. We're going to let the chips fly where they fly, and then we'll just do it like that.
Coach Hamilton, and this is really the case with both teams, forget the records coming into tonight, but it's kind of a fresh start tonight in terms of league play. Both teams coming in again. This is the first game of the district tonight across both districts. How does the mindset change with your team now that it's a district game? Is it different?
Absolutely. I mean, I think when you start district play, it adds another dimension to the game and put it important, especially the way you describe the the district and the region, trying to get in for us. I mean, be a lofty goal to try to finish in the top three and make the playoffs. And so every district win you can come up with would be very important. And this is a home game. So, we have to, try. I think anytime you're working district and trying to seed for a tournament, I think trying to keep that home court advantage, so to speak, or whatever, is very, very important.
And again, to remind our audiences, in our region tournament, it'll be the same as before, in that 4 teams from each district will advance to the region. The difference being, instead of playing in a 9-team league, it's a 5-team league. So we'll have 2 tournaments that will basically eliminate 1 team from each district. And then the seeding for the tournament will be based on how each individual school finishes in their own district tournament. If you can keep up with that, congratulations. I know as a coach in Tennessee, I always had to maybe kind of explain how the tournament works every year, because, you have some chances that you can lose in the tournament and still advance, which is a little bit different compared to maybe some other sports or some other states. Let's talk about this as we finish up, gentlemen. And again, we're talking about tonight's Brentwood versus Centennial basketball game. It'll be played at Centennial High School, the start of the district season, which is always an exciting time. Coach Williams, if you would, give us a couple of keys for your team to be successful tonight.
Tonight, we just got to play hard, play smart, know our assignments. I'm really big on defense. And so as long as we do those certain things, rebound, hustle, we'll be fine. I just really, really stress the defensive area. That's just more my expertise as a player.
Coach Hamilton, how about for Centennial?
Well, I think we have to start out good. We have to start the game well. I think some of it for us playing tonight will be mental, especially with the success that Brentwood's had. And so I think we have to start out well and just play hard, give our best effort. And, they've got a nice team. They're very skilled, shoot it very well. And it'll be a tough assignment, but it's something that we're looking forward to tonight.
Well, gentlemen, again, I appreciate you being here with us today. I know you have a busy schedule. Looking forward to tonight's game. And we'll be back here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk to Troy Bond and Jeremy Moore, the boys coaches for Brentwood and Centennial High School. Again, coaches, appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the coaches preview show. We're now joined by the head coaches at Centennial and Brentwood High School on the boys side. We've got Coach Jeremy Moore from Centennial, and a first timer to the show, new head coach at Brentwood High School, Coach Troy Bond. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Like the girls' game, this will be the first district game for both teams. Coach Bond, I'm going to start with you first. Welcome to WCS. And before we talk any more about your team or tonight's game, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
This is year 29 coaching at the high school level. Year 21 coaching as a head coach. Been at Wilson Central and Oakland High School prior to arriving at Brentwood.
And Coach, we're excited about having you in the district. I know your time at Wilson Central and also at Oakland High School, much like when Coach Moore was at Laverne High School, familiar with the league. Obviously, you've had some battles with these teams in the league, and we're excited about having you on our team, so to speak, now.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. It's good seeing a lot of the faces and know a lot of the coaches already here. So it's be a great challenge.
Coach Moore, now you're in year 2 at Centennial High School. We talked about this before when you were on the show. Not new to the district, though. You were at Independence High School before. But talk about with your team, because I know it does kind of make a difference. First year under your belt, obviously not as a head coach, but first year at the school, everything's new. The bell schedules are different. You don't know the players. You got to figure out how the booster club works, all that kind of stuff. Talk about the difference between year 1 and year 2 being the head coach at Centennial High School.
Yeah, I think anytime you take over a new job and a new school and a new district, there's so much unknown that comes with that. Not from basketball is basketball. It doesn't matter if it's in state of Tennessee or if it's in Alaska, it's all pretty much the same. But all the other stuff was a little bit different. And then we had, we started out on online virtual school for a couple months. So I think last year was much more difficult just to develop a rapport and a relationship and get to know your kids and start, I think we built a pretty good culture year one, but I think this year it's been a whole lot easier just because we had a summer. We played 30 games in the summer. We've been able to have workouts. First day we're back in school. We've been in the weight room. So just getting to spend more time around my guys, I think it has benefited our program. They get to know me. I get to know them. They get to, learn kind of my ins and outs as I do theirs. So I think that's been, we've taken a big step forward when it comes just to culture and relationships and those types of things.
Obviously, some of those things that Coach Bond's going through this year, being first year at Brentwood High School. Let me ask both of you this question. We talked about this a little bit before we came on the air. Obviously, this is a matchup in terms of the coaches that goes way back to the 9 AAA days. And then also you guys matched up being in Rutherford County together. Obviously have some familiarity. So Coach Bond, I'll start with you. Even though it's different jerseys, different locations, probably know what you're getting when you're facing a Jeremy Moore team.
Absolutely. They're going to guard you hard. He gets a lot out of his kids. His teams always achieve at a high level. Have definitely seen him through ages of different programs just excel and get better. His kids have always played extremely hard and always give 100% effort on it. And he always finds a way to get the guys that need the ball. And he's done a great job there at that program.
And Coach Moore, I'm assuming now that you're getting ready for a Troy Bond Brentwood team tonight, that your team's going to talk about maybe some different looks defensively too.
Yeah, I've followed Coach Bond around, and we were in District 9 AAA years and years ago. Then we went to District 7 together. So we've had some great battles over the years. And the thing you're always going to get with Coach Bond is there going to be multiple on defensively. But the things that are given, they're going to play hard. They're going to be in the right spots. They're going to take charges. They're going to do the gritty, tough stuff that a lot of teams don't do, especially nowadays. It's really hard to get kids to take charges. But Jake Brock's going to take a lot of charges. And he gets a lot out of his kids as far as from a defensive standpoint. To be honest with you, it's probably our toughest game to prepare for, just because they do play so many defenses and they're different looks. It's not like it's all an odd fronted zone or an even fronted zone or man or anything like that. It's just you got to be ready to be a ball player. And that's kind of what we've tried to impress upon our kids is, we're going to worry about ourselves and we just got to make plays and play underneath their zone a little bit and use pass fakes and play on 2 feet. So, any weakness that you have, they're going to expose it with one of their defenses.
And listen, now that we've got the love fest over, you mentioned a charge. I remember a famous charge being taken. I believe it was in a region semi, Wilson Central Laverne. Coach Moore, I think you might have been the assistant coach there under Coach Workman at the time. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Probably a call that both of you saw a little bit different, but I guarantee you both of you remember.
I think they fouled out our best player. It was taken at half court, which I don't think charges were meant to be taken at half court. But I think the kid's name, Coach Bond, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Calhoun?
Yep, Jordan Calhoun. That's what he was great at. Him one season, he had over 60 charges.
Yep, and he also rented a car from him about a year ago. He was managing an enterprise rental car, and we still talked about it that day, and that's been 20 years ago probably.
Yep.
That's funny how games or moments you remember as a coach, whether they're good things or bad things. In this case, a good thing for Coach Bond and a bad thing for Coach Moore. Hey, let's talk about your teams a little bit. Coach Bond, you come in at 9-3. You had to pull out of the Summit King of the Hill tournament, which I know you were disappointed about with some health issues, but good for your team. you were able to come back and play a game on Tuesday night this week against Nolensville, which has to be good. Heading into a district game, you would have hated to play this game after not playing. I guess it was December 22nd was your last game. But any nerves or any concerns about being a little bit rusty coming into tonight's game, or did that Tuesday night game pretty much take care of that?
Well, I think that definitely helped us getting back, but we're still just a big time work in progress because we're playing a total different way. We've got kids that are still learning a lot of our system and what we want to do, especially on the defensive end. But we're getting better. We've got a great group of guys that work really hard. That layoff definitely was not a great thing for us, but hopefully we're kind of over that and kind of past that standpoint and can keep getting better. Centennial will be a tough matchup for us for sure. We just got to keep working on us, I think, and getting better each and every week and getting what we want done each day we practice, take every opportunity we get and try to get better.
Coach Bond, talk about kind of like with Coach Moore, the challenges of being in your first year, new to the school, but really maybe as much as anything, and not that you're against this, in fact, you're for it, just like Coach Moore is. You had a ton of guys that played football, but let's face it, that had to add to some of this. Not only is it new, you're new to the school, you're new to the players, they're new to you, but you've had guys that weren't even with you when it got started this year.
Yeah, it was somewhat of a challenge for sure, especially in the summer. We got the job kind of late, and then just trying to get everybody there and having a lot of football kids. We were definitely used to that coming from Oakland, but was definitely a challenge because we got guys that are kind of carrying the mail, so to speak, now that were more role guys in the past. And so, a lot of people I think forget that Brentwood last year lost a lot of key guys that kind of carried the load for several years there. So we've got guys in new positions, in particular, Jake Brock, Davis White, Daniel Cochran, that are three kids from the football field that transferred right over in right in the heat of the moment and have done an outstanding job, making that adjustment and learning a whole new system, a whole new way to play.
Well, no, those are players I was going to mention as well, Coach Bond. But talk about Jake a little bit. I know he's a guy that you love this kid, right? He's a football player. He makes big plays on the football field. He's a tough-minded basketball player, just like he is in football. And then when the spring rolls around, he'll get involved in track as well. This is a guy who, I'll say this in a positive way, he reeks of what a high school athlete should be.
Absolutely. He's a competitor. He's a winner. He does an outstanding job of just in preparation, whether it's shooting in the mornings, watching film. He'll always ask me, "Hey, Coach, do you have the, example, Centennial film loaded yet where we can get on there and watch it?" Ultimate competitor, as well as just a great kid, which is always nice to have whenever you're coaching, that one of your better players is one of your best kids as well. And he's definitely a winner. Excited to be able to have the opportunity to coach him.
Coach Moore, let's talk a little Centennial. You're coming in at 10-5. You went to and you've always done this with your teams. You go to the Willie Brown Memorial Tournament there at Father Ryan. Great competition at that particular tournament. You finished the tournament up with a win over MLK, but you also had an opportunity and then to play Green Hill, one of the best teams in the mid-state, as well as Hillsboro, which gives you a chance to play a district opponent when it really doesn't matter, but it gets you kind of a firsthand look. You had to be excited about that.
Yeah, we go there just about every year. I think the competition is great. And, what it kind of does for us is caps off the first half of the season. So we can find out exactly where we are. And, we want our weaknesses to be exposed. When we put together the schedule, we knew we weren't going to go undefeated. And, we're trying to expose our weaknesses where we can work on those weaknesses. And hopefully by the time tournament comes around, then we're a little bit better at the things we weren't, great at the first half of the season. But we played Green Hill, who at the time was undefeated. Tough matchup for us. They're kind of the opposite. We're more small and scrappy, and they're big and physical. So, I thought we competed well for a half, and then third quarter happened, and it was kind of over from there. But had an opportunity to play Hillsborough, which, in a coach's eyes, that's not ideal, because we're going to see them hopefully 2 or 3 more times here in the next 6 weeks. But it gave us an opportunity to, kind of just fill them out. And we went into the game with very little scout. We just wanted to go out and play, almost treat it like a scrimmage type thing where, it was just an opportunity to practice and get better. So I thought we got better all 3 days there. And then Tuesday night, we were able to host Smyrna here and played really well in that one. So, we're just trying to get a little bit better every day. And basketball is a tournament sport. So we hope to peak third week of February, I think, is when the tournament starts.
Coach, I believe you guys hit 12 threes on Tuesday night. I mean, and listen, you've got some senior leadership I know you're proud of, but talk a little bit about those sophomores too. Dominic Reed, Tanner Lee, those guys are really playing well for your team.
Yeah, our seniors have done a great job as far as they lead us in the locker room. They're the communication piece to it all. But those 2 sophomores have really stepped up, and they're growing every day. And just like Coach Bond was talking about, they are the 2 hardest working kids every day at practice. They're going to stay late. They're going to come early, and just continue to work on their game. Both of them are really good football players, but they've made themselves really good basketball players. I think Dominic Reed is probably averaging 16, 17 points, but more impressive for him is, in my opinion, is he's averaging 9 rebounds a game. And, it's hard to go get 9 rebounds, especially when you're a 15-year-old sophomore. And then he's been super consistent. Tanner has been a little bit up and down from a scoring standpoint, but even when he doesn't score, we ask him to handle the ball. He's our probably second guard as far as just handling the press and handling pressure and things like that. He usually guards the other team's best player. Really, both of them are just tough, hard-nosed kids. And at the end of the day, they only care about winning. And that's the beauty of everybody we have in the program right now. They don't care about stats. They're not going and looking at the book, or their parents aren't going and taking a picture of the book or things like that. They just care about the scoreboard. And I think you can tell that by the way they play. There's no jealousy. Tuesday night, Tanner had 28 and Dominic only had 14. It's been reversed quite a few times, and you wouldn't know it after the game who scores, and who all they care about is trying to get the win.
Gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about the district and region. We mentioned during the segment with the girls coaches how now we have 2 5-team leagues. Basically, what that means is we'll play a district tournament to determine region seedings. One team will be eliminated. If you finish in the top 3, you know that you're moving on with 4 and 5 playing the play-in game, so to speak, on each side. Coach Bond, I wanted to mention this to you as well, or get your thoughts on this. A little bit different in that we're starting district games so late. We can, because there's only 5 teams, there's not 9. That had to also be a little bit of a blessing for your team too, based on those other things we talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. In the past, because of district size, you might have anywhere from 2 to 3 district games before you ever get to Christmas break. And in the past, we've had, when we was at Oakland, we had, teams that were playing in the state semifinals or the state championship game. And so we would be definitely behind the 8 ball a little bit, getting those guys back. This year, football did an outstanding job. Coach Finch and his staff got, to that second round and did a great job of turning a tough season at the very beginning into a great season for them. But did an outstanding job. So getting those guys back and having that more of a chance to get to know one another, kind of build our chemistry, I think definitely is a plus in that sense. And being new to the league, I was familiar with the old conference that they had with all the teams, and now it's obviously different. But coming in new, you really don't have that rivalry that that much of yet. And but I think most everybody's playing each other, which is going to help. and kind of keep those rivalries intact. And who knows where this ends up going in the future as far as the size of leagues and so forth.
Yeah, Coach Moore and I have talked about that as well before you came in, Coach Bond. We thought it was important that our teams across the two districts play one another. Now, as the district athletic director, in a biased kind of way, I'd love to see everybody play twice. I know that doesn't always work. I know coaches sometimes have different mindsets about that. But like Coach was referring to, Coach Moore, if we don't watch it, we might lose some of what makes us special here if we don't play each other like we should.
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, we tried to play everybody as much as we could. And I think it'll be easier, you know, in the coming years when we kind of have all seen the landscape and how to navigate it and things like that. But, you know, to be honest with you, this was the easiest year I've had scheduling. You know, we don't play on a Monday or a Thursday or a Saturday. Every game's Tuesday, Friday. So the kids getting a little bit of a rhythm. You know, we were able to schedule, I think, most everybody in our region twice. A couple of them were just playing once. But, you know, I think it's going to set up for, I'm hoping that we're involved in it. But, you know, one of the greatest region tournament atmospheres in the state of Tennessee. I think, you know, if you have, even though I know there's some Metro and there's a Murray County team in it, I think it could just set up, and that will keep the rivalries going, I hope, even if teams choose not to play one another.
Yeah, I hope you're right about that, Coach. Hey, so let's finish up. Again, appreciate you guys being here today. We're talking about tonight's District 11 4A. We got 4 classes now, not 3. Talking about the matchup, Brentwood at Centennial. Coach Bond, I'll start with you, if you would. Give us a couple of keys for your team tonight.
I think definitely got a guard. I think that night in, night out, that's what my teams in the past have been the key to our success is defending, winning the glass, and taking care of the basketball. Can't turn the ball over and do a great job of guarding and winning the boards on both ends.
Coach Moore, how about for Centennial?
It's real similar. You know, we're going to try to guard them a little bit and pressure them, try to make them miss. They shoot the ball really well, so we got to get their percentage down, and then we got to finish the possession with a box out and keep Cochran and White and those guys off the glass. And then offensively, we're just going to try to attack their zone and play it at the pace that we want the game at. You know, not let them dictate the pace, but at the end of the day, it usually comes down to turnovers and rebounds, like Coach Bond said.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you being here today. I really do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Darrin. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us for the Coach's Preview Show. We'll see you next week.